I feel like the fans from the original movie and the original like trio like just kept it alive, and like if they had kids they showed their kids, if they have cousins they showed their cousins, and I feel like it's been kept alive through the old fans. And then now I just think maybe we added on some new ones, maybe some like kids or some people that are like, wow, I really like Jurassic World, and now they're joining in on it. But I really do believe it's been kept alive throughout all these years from the original fans.
Well, welcome back to Dino Park Media. My name is Samuel, and with me today I have two incredible Jurassic fans. They're a huge part of the Instagram community, but also they definitely had their hands in multiple other places when it comes to the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World fandom. We have Jurassic Jen with us today, and we also have... Yep, sorry, you go ahead and say hi.
Hello.
Yes, and we have also with us, we have Matt Heuel from the Instagram account Site B, Isla Sorna Site B. Why don't you go ahead and say hi, Matt?
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's an honor and privilege to be on again. Super thankful. Thank you so much, Samuel.
Well, of course, and I'm just... This is amazing. This is kind of a dream come true for me to be able to just sit here and geek out about my favorite movie and favorite movie franchise with two other people that are just as passionate, if not more passionate than me. So this is definitely a huge opportunity. But today, what we wanted to be able to go over is we want to talk about how the fandom survived through that time of what I like to call the Jurassic apostasy, where between Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World, 14 years of nothing. It seems like after the Jurassic Park 3 era, it seems like a lot of Jurassic Park stuff just fell off the face of the earth. We had some rumors here and there, but it was just hard to see that the franchise going anywhere. But the fandom stuck through. The fandom found a way, and
I like that.
Yes, and here we are now. Here we are with two Jurassic World movies. We have 2 seasons of Camp Cretaceous, Jurassic World Dominion coming out next year. The future seems bright. So let's just go ahead and jump in with our first question. Because it really does begin with Jurassic Park 3. That's really what started this 14-year period of just nothing. What were your original thoughts on Jurassic Park 3 after it first came out? And then in light of Jurassic Park 3, what was your overall thoughts on the franchise after Jurassic Park 3 released? And anybody can go ahead and start.
Jurassic
Yeah, go ahead, Jen.
Actually is one of my favorites. Yeah, it's one of my favorites, actually. I know I get a lot of like crap for it because people are like, oh, that's the worst one. And I'm like, it's one of my favorite ones.
It's a good one. Good for you, Jen.
One.
I like that. Yeah.
I mean, you look back and it could get a little cheesy at times, but it's like still Jurassic Park, so it's amazing. And I love Samuel. But I think it's like the same thing, kind of how now it's like, is Dominion the end of it? Like, is that it? Like, so I feel like after Jurassic Park 3, you kind of think it's like the ending of it. But I feel like there's always been rumors of like a new one coming out. So like, I feel like in those 14 years, I kept thinking like, okay, another one's coming out. And I kept like researching and trying to find it. So it never really died for me. It just like, it was just like, I knew something else was going to happen. It couldn't be the end for me. And there was so many rumors. And as I got older, I kept following it. Like, and Spielberg, I think there was like rumors that he was throwing away scripts because they weren't good enough. So for me, I just kept track, and I like knew something else was going to come out. I didn't know when or how or where, but I just like knew another one was going to come out. That's how it was for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great answer, Jen. I feel like for me, honestly, at first I didn't like the fact that the T-Rex died, and I still didn't in Jurassic Park 3 because I'm such a big Rex fan. And even because I grew up here in Southern California, so going on the Universal ride, it didn't feel the same anymore, like to a degree, because it felt like the Spinosaurus took over.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, but I'll always defend Jurassic Park 3 because if you look at it as a popcorn film, like, I don't like to really compare it to Transformers or like Pacific Rim, but if you compare it to like a turn your brain off film, it is a really fun ride.
So
Like
fun.
from start to the end. It's super fun. And like you said, Sam Neill's in it.
Right.
So of course
Exactly. That's all that needed to be done. And then
yeah.
Sam Neill.
And he got halfback. So it's great.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of people hated the whole T-Rex and Spino, but I think it was there purposely for a reason to show how powerful the Spino was.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and having a new dinosaur was fun, and it really has. I mean, the Spinosaurus has its own little cult following in the pocket, in the niche of Jurassic Park fandom. There's also there's a whole army of Spinosaurus fans, and so like it was a good addition to the overall story, and but as a movie for Jurassic Park 3, I think for me specifically, I definitely see it as, I think it's the weakest out of the 5 that we have right now, even more than Fallen Kingdom. But that's really because of the plot. I mean, because it is tons of fun, and it just doesn't fit the different pegs that the other Jurassic films had. They had a lot of intrigue, they had a lot of horror, and they had a lot of these different like moral questions about cloning, about animal cruelty and all that kind of stuff. And you're throwing in all these complex ideas, but then you have Jurassic Park 3, and it really comes down to, they had a lot of ideas, but then it ultimately ends up being a chase film where the Spinosaurus is really just chasing him the entire time. And which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just that it's such a tonal shift from the rest of the series.
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure as they were filming, they were still like rewriting parts of the script, right?
No, you're spot on with that. I mean, so they actually, while they were filming, actually the embryonics lab, they were actually going to originally tease more ideas of like some deeper threads and try to like be like there's a lot, and then kind of like try to show there's a bunch of mysteries to be uncovered in the embryonics lab, but then they didn't do anything more than just kind of show. That
would have been cool. That would have been super
That would have been really cool.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it would have set up more for the future of the franchise better, but they didn't buy enough into it. And then honestly, I think that JP3, well, I mean, if you look at the 3 original trilogy movies, JP1, The Lost World, and JP3, they're not serialized. They don't really build off of each other very cohesively. They're each individual stories. Now, of course, you can't have the other 2 without the first one, but in the same regard, they're very disjointed stories. And I think that separation of the trilogy made it feel kind of like a cheaper franchise, at least to me. And I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. When I was in high school, I was a huge Jurassic Park fan back then too. But I heard rumors about JP4. I heard rumors about like all these things that they thought were going to come in the future. And I'm like, I just don't think it's going to happen, because if they keep on doing these independent stories like they have been, then it's just going to feel like, like the Halloween series or the Jaws series, where the movies just continue progressively get worse. And it takes away from the amazingness of the first couple movies. And so
that's what I think a lot of fans had problems with The Lost World especially, and then going into Jurassic Park 3, not seeing Dr. Grant back in Lost World. I think it's like not seeing Luke Skywalker back in Empire Strikes Back or something like that for fans. Then heading into 3, there was no Malcolm. I mean, there was Sally, which was great to see her, but it's less episodic than say Jurassic World.
Even though Sattler was in it, she wasn't really like in it for me. Like she wasn't like a part of it, so it was like kind of disappointing too. So I get that. But like in Jurassic World, I get what you're saying. It's kind of a continuation, because it's like Chris Pratt, like Sarah and Owen are in it, and they continue. So that's a good point.
That was a really good choice though too, because because if they would have kept on going with the episodic nature of the films, I do believe that, like what I thought in high school, the series would have been cheapened. But honestly, Jurassic World has brought value back to the Jurassic name.
Yes, and even with Camp Cretaceous, like you said, it's like it's going along simultaneously with Jurassic World, so it's still connected, even though it's a cartoon.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I think with that being said, then moving into our next question, because I mean that really does. We've already kind of been tapping into it a little bit. Did you ever think that another Jurassic film was going to come after Jurassic Park 3? Like there was plenty of rumors out there, but did you actually believe that they would actually make good on that promise?
You go ahead, Jen.
I was getting worried about, because like the story from last time when I was on your show, Jurassic Park made me want to be an actress.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like so obsessed with it, and like back then I was like, I'm gonna be in the second Jurassic Park, I'm gonna be in the third one. So then when I actually started getting into acting, and it was like I did, but I wasn't like really acting back then. I just wanted to be in it, and I was younger. So when after JP3 came out, and it's kind of felt like it could be the end, but it's not. I followed it like so much because I was like, I gotta be in the next one. Like it was such an obsession for me, and I was like following it through it. So I basically had high hopes that there would be, and I kind of felt like there would be one day, but I just didn't know when it would happen. But I did feel like it wasn't going to be the end of it. Like it's just too good of a franchise, like to just end it. I felt like it was going to come back for sure.
How would you like to have been involved with like a Jurassic Park 4? Would you have liked to have been like one of the main characters, or one of the side characters, or just anything at that point?
I would, as long as it wasn't background, I would have taken any character. A main character would have been awesome, but I would have taken a side character too. So like it was just like always a dream to be a part of the franchise, to have like I don't care if I was eaten by a dinosaur, I just wanted to be a part of it.
Hey, Colin Trevorrow, look out.
Yeah, there you go. Like I think I said this last time too. Like we need to make this petition so that Colin.
I know there's a petition going on. I mean, I think there's going to be a TV show too. So I still have some hopes.
Oh yeah, no, I think that. Well, I mean, we'll talk about this more in the future.
Yeah,
too.
We'll get to the TV show later.
Right, but I think that there's going to be a bright future. But what do you think though? Matt? Were you hoping, or did you actually think that they would follow through with the fourth movie?
No, I always knew there was going to be a fourth film just because it's Jurassic Park. I mean, I guess, again, because I grew up in SoCal and I'm right next to the ride and I've been on it so many times, it's just ingrained inside of me, like Jurassic Park. So, and of course, the internet was getting bigger at the time. So I would, a lot of my friends, like I remember in elementary, were starting to drift away from Jurassic Park, though. I do remember that. And I remember, honestly, I was like, oh, man, I'm like the only Jurassic Park kid. But
the true fans stood forever.
We did. All the way till 2015. But I just remember during that time that, like, Pokemon, for example, like Yu-Gi-Oh! is getting big. And even like Marvel or DC properties were becoming more of an interest for people. Jurassic Park was still popular, but it didn't have that same like vibe that it did in the 90s. But I did think they were. I remember hearing rumors on like Dan's JP3 page. I don't know if you guys remember that, but there were like rumors about Keira Knightley being involved and Vince Vaughn coming back and Sam Neill coming back. So I knew there was something going on, and I do remember in 2006 there was supposed to be like an official release date, and 8, and then 11, and then they had the re-release I think in 13 for the 3D variation of Jurassic Park. But then I remember they finally announced with Colin Trevorrow, and I had this good feeling with Colin too. I was like, okay, he's like an indie guy. He can do this. And then it was supposed to come out in 14. But then they pushed it back a year to June 15, and it finally came out. And Colin, he nailed it. Like, of course, it was filled with nostalgia and callbacks, but so what? He delivered it. I saw that 9 times myself in the theater. I just kept singing. It was beautiful.
So beautiful. I was so nervous that it was gonna be like I had high hopes and super faith in it, but I was like, it has to be good. Please let it be good. And it like blew my mind. I loved it. It's my second favorite in the whole the whole franchise. I completely
agree with you, Jen. Like about everything that you said. I was hoping that it was going to be good, but I was actually expecting it to be. I was thinking it was going to be bad, but then it ends up being my second favorite in the franchise after the original. But like when the rumors of JP4 were happening during that time, like I will tell you this: hearing about how the army got a hold of dinosaurs and started putting guns on their back, turning into and then evolving into human dinosaur hybrids with actual concept art that is straight from the pit of hell. It's disgusting. Like these things are just absolutely gross.
The John Cell scripts and all that. Yeah.
I was like, please no. But that was the rumor that I heard, that like Spielberg was like, hell no, like scrap it. That was what I heard.
No, like I honestly, when I heard that Jurassic World was coming out, I was immediately like, I was actually mad. I was like, no, don't ruin the franchise, because I thought that they were going to go with one of these original ideas that I just said. But like, thankfully, it ended up being just a reestablishing of a recentering of the feel of the franchise, the original feel. And I really appreciate that, and it ended up becoming one of my favorites. And I think I'm gonna switch my questions around here a little bit, because it kind of moves into where we are right now. Lends itself to this question. Do you think that the franchise boomed after Jurassic World because of old fans, just kind of like flocking back to the franchise, or because Jurassic World 2015 was attractive to so many new fans upon its release?
I think a little bit of both, because, well, it's funny that you said that too, because I went to Jurassic Quest recently. It was like this dinosaur thing, and I went.
I was so
got
jealous.
The lucky.
I was so jealous.
It was so fun, but I actually got the privilege of going with the JP motor pool. So we were like in Jurassic Park Jeeps.
Oh, that's so cool.
And that was the first time I was like in the Jeep and like saw people's like expressions outside of the Jeep, like people stopping in traffic and like taking pictures and like waving and all that stuff. And when we went into the Jurassic Quest, I was actually surprised to see how many little kids were going, Jurassic Park, look, Jurassic Park. So I feel like it's been kept alive through like fans back then, and like showing their kids. And now these little kids, like my little 5-year-old baby cousin loves Jurassic Park. So like he loves Jurassic World too, because it's more like when he was born and he knows the stuff, but he knows everything about Jurassic Park because he loves dinosaurs. And like I feel like the fans from the original movie and the original like trio like just kept it alive. And like if they had kids, they showed their kids. If they have cousins, they showed their cousins. And I feel like it's been kept alive through the old fans. And then now I just think maybe we added on some new ones, maybe some like kids or some people that are like, wow, I really like Jurassic World, and now they're joining in on it. But I really do believe it's been kept alive throughout all these years from the original fans. And generation to generation to generation. Because I was so shocked, and I thought it was so adorable how these like little kids, girls and boys, wanted to take pictures with the Jeep, screaming out Jurassic Park, like just by seeing like the logo. It was so cute. Nice. Like it's so cute.
That's amazing. Like, and that also provides me a lot of hope. Going like, okay, I think that we have some hope also for the future here too, moving forward with what we can expect. But I mean that what you just said, especially with that experience, really does encapsulate what I believe will be the future. And I do believe that the reason that we have Camp Cretaceous, you know, a kids show that did have some mature elements, but it's very much a kids show, is because I think that Universal is trying to future-proof its franchise. And also I have to say this. Universal is doing this very shrewdly in the fact that they aren't just automatically blowing up with everything Jurassic World. They have a lot of merchandise out there, and they've been definitely using the brand, but they haven't blown up like Star Wars did. Like when Disney first bought Star Wars, they're like, everything must be on the shelves, you know, and they just like anything that they could throw up Star Wars onto, they did. And then we end up getting some really just dumb stuff, like, you know, like Star Wars, like bath mats and stuff like that. And you're thinking like, okay, is this really what we need at this moment? And then, but then they put so much stock into it, and then like they just kind of got lazy with the IP. And in my opinion, some people would argue that. But Jurassic World, they've really been protecting this IP, and I think they still know that they're still in the early stages of it being something that will be cemented for the next generation, like Star Wars is. Thanks for watching this video, which is a first part of a 2-part video that we are doing on the Jurassic fandom surviving from the Jurassic Park 3 period to the modern day with Jurassic World. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like it, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell below in order to keep up to date with every Dino Park Media upload that we have in the future. You can help us get to 100 subscribers and help us extend our reach so that other Jurassic fans can also experience this content. But guys, thank you for watching with us, and make sure that you know you are loved.